Currency.
Like a couple Bitcoins.
Money,
Pull up on my Nakamoto.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the Blockchain Dynamics Show.
Welcome.
It is episode number 22.
I am Woody.
My name is Brandon Doge.
And this is, what day is it? Let's find out here.
Saturday, July 30th. We always record the show on Saturday night. We usually put it up on SoundCloud like early Sunday.
Yep. And then it quickly shows up on all those other platforms. In addition to several forums, it shows up on Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher.
All your favorites. We are brought to you this week by Cryptopia. That's www.cryptopia.co.nz.
Yeah, and that's just a great crypto resource website as well as an exchange. We have a forum thread on there where we post the show every week, and it's a great place to get in contact with us if you want to do that.
Yeah, if you want your coin future, do you have any ideas for the show, or just really anything you'd like to hear about, stop by our Cryptopia thread. Leave us a message. We're stickied in the altcoin section. And if you post in the thread, we will hit you up with some dots.
That's right.
Cryptopia has been kind enough to give us some dots to give away.
It's been a lot of fun.
And yeah, we're loving it, so feel free to stop by there. And we're trying to think of some other fun ways to give away these dots, and so we'll kind of have that for you in the future.
We'd really like to have live calling in.
It's true.
But the logistics of it make it seem like it might be tough because we don't have many live listeners at this point.
Yep.
So if you're interested in something like that, let us know, and maybe we can arrange a live call-in and award you with dots.
Yeah, if you wanted to be a live caller, we would totally give you a pretty large chunk of dots. We just think it would be fun to interact with people kind of who aren't necessarily just like developers or whatever the usual interviews are. You know, it's fun to have people just from the community who want to talk about coins.
But on the subject of interviews, we have a good one this week with the developer of Jules.
Yep. Jules, we mentioned it, I think, a couple weeks ago. It's a gaming themed coin for the games for this person's company, essentially. And they, I guess maybe we'll just go right to the interview.
Sure, might as well. Hello, this is Woody from Blockchain Dynamics.
And my name is Brandon Doge.
And today we're here with Pro4Neva, Chris Cook.
Thanks for having me on. I am the lead programmer for the Apex and Heroes projects, and I'm also involved in the Jules project for our new coin.
Awesome.
We're really happy to have Chris on the show. They reached out to us after we had mentioned their show on an earlier episode. And so we always love to be able to connect with people who have listened to the show and stuff. So we were really happy that you guys wanted to come on.
Yeah, for sure. We're happy to be here.
So let's just start by learning a little bit about yourself and, like you said, your position with Apex, Conquer, and Jules.
For sure. So I've been programming for around 10 years now, and I've been an active member of the Elite PvPers forum. During that time, I've been heavily involved in game development and server development for a game called Conquer Online. So for the last year and a half, that's actually what I've been doing full time with the Apex Conquer server. And now what we're looking to do is to sort of push that forward, to start introducing crypto concepts to using the Jules project here, and to continue that development on. So that's my side of things, is the actual game development part of it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So is there another few people that are involved with the game then?
So right now we have 4 different people. We have 2 different programmers relating to the game. We have one person who's handling the wallet and the actual coin development, and then we do have a player support agent, although that is of course a shared duty. We all pitch in on that.
Nice. So can you tell us a little bit more about the game Apex Conquer itself? Obviously Jules will be in more than just the game.
For
but
sure.
this is going to be like the first major use case for it, right?
Yes, definitely. So Apex is a Conquer Online Classic server. The gameplay is very similar to like a Diablo 2 sort of a game, very hack and slash isometric view, but it is a full MMORPG. We currently have a couple thousand active daily players, and it is very heavily PvP focused. So there's a lot of killing other people in it. We have over a dozen different tournaments and events in it, and we do try and push a lot of different customization options, and that's generally how we monetize and what we would generally be aiming to start using the jewels for. So that would be things like custom skins for your weapon or your armor, and that way we can do that without selling strength to players. The game also does introduce a lot of different RNG concepts in terms of gambling and how your gear is created, so that's something that players are quite used to.
Yeah, definitely. Sweet. In regards to the Jewels blockchain itself, could you give us a rundown on the technical details of that, like coin number and proof of stake?
Okay, so we are using proof of stake, and we are doing a total of 20 million jewels. There'll be 1 million reserved for PayPal fund and 1 million reserved for dev fund. The reason that there's a PayPal fund is because it is in an existing game. Players expect to be able to have sort of a one-click purchase option. They don't want to have to go to an exchange and convert to Bitcoin and then over to jewels. So the way that'll work is that we'll be able to sell from that reserve fund, and then we will restock it by going to an exchange to purchase it in. Now, the jewels sold that way will have a maturity value. Although that is a confusing term considering it is a crypto, it may be more accurate to refer to that as sort of how trusted those jewels are. So to account for chargebacks, that sort of thing, jewels bought through the PayPal side of things will not be tradable or able to be resold on an exchange until that PayPal period has expired. At that point, they can only use it to purchase in-game items.
That's interesting. I was kind of wondering how you were going to address that concern, so that's cool to hear.
Yeah, it is definitely a major concern because, of course, we don't want to have to deal with chargebacks ourselves. And for people who are investing in the coin, they want to be sure that there's still going to be demand. So any of our players can go to an exchange. We are looking into getting added to as many exchanges as possible at the moment, and they can purchase their own coins. They can load them into their account. But if they want that quick, just one-click buy coins now, they can do so through our site.
Great, yeah. And you mentioned that the jewels do a lot of customization purchasing and sort of micropayments in the game. Are there other future plans for how to use the jewels in the game then?
So there's actually a lot of different uses that we have planned for it. The main point of the coin, as far as we're concerned, is to create a suite of provably fair gambling games. Now, those are going to be developed completely separate from our game using Unity, developing as an HTML5 app, and we can then embed it into our game using a web view. So those games will be new content for our players. So dice games, card games, slot games where they play versus a house. And that'll provide new content to our players, as well as creating a new demand for the coins both inside our game and outside.
Sweet. So an online casino type of website, sort of.
Essentially, yes. So those games individually will be available inside of our game, but then they'll also be available as their own website, their own mobile app, and we'll be looking to contact a number of other games and other server owners to try and get them to introduce those games into their projects as well. That way we can continue to expand the demand.
Okay.
Cool. So what kind of updates do you have in mind still for Apex Conquer? And what other games do you guys have on the horizon?
Okay, so Apex has been online for approximately 18 months now. It is as I mentioned earlier, a classic game. So it is focused on the game as it existed 8 to 10 years ago. So later on next month, we actually have a new project we've been working on for the last year, and that's starting a much newer version of the game. So that's going to have a lot more content in terms of tournaments and features and in-game functionality for people. And we're really hoping to use that to push the project even further, because there's a lot of complexities with the older game. It might not be quite as user-friendly to a person who has never played Conquer before, and that's one of the things that we definitely want to address. So that's in testing right now. We're going to be starting a full-scale beta test of it on the 1st, and we hope to be able to launch it by the end of August. And then we are also looking to do our own custom game after that. So that would be the Project Rebirth. So that would be a completely custom MMO built from the ground up. So that way we aren't having to rely on the client that we're currently using. The main focuses of that will be to introduce proper modern network techniques. Conquer uses TCP, which for a fast-paced action game, it's just not acceptable. It's not something that has aged well. So that's definitely something that we want to work on, but that will be far more long-term. That's something we're aiming for end of 2016, mid-2017 for a beta of that.
Okay, nice. A lot of stuff coming up.
Yeah, we have quite a few things. Now, a lot of that will boil down to how many extra developers, artists, that sort of thing that we are able to bring in. And that's something that we will be looking into doing over the next couple of months. We will be accepting resumes and vetting some applicants.
Okay, nice. And is that something that you guys will utilize the ICO funds for?
Yes and no. There's going to be two different sections to it. So based on the amount raised, the first priority is, of course, getting the gambling suite in place, because that's how we can implement immediately and we can continue to scale through adding it to other projects. If we are able to raise further funds, then that will be something that we'll use to start the network prototype. So putting all the networking functions in place, getting the core graphics foundation in, and then after that point, we can look to use some of our own funds that we have raised and look to do that to further the actual art and actual assets for the game.
Cool. And so what are the rules for the ICO? Is it ongoing now or it's coming up?
Yeah, so the ICO is open now and will end on August the 16th at 12 a.m. UTC. So to do that, you can go right through on our thread there. We have a link to our website. You can just log into your account and it will generate an address for you to contribute to. Any transactions sent to that will be added. We have a list on our website of all transactions. And at the end, we will then be breaking down how much each person has contributed and distributing the coins accordingly.
So what percentage of the blockchain is being distributed through the ICO?
90%. So there is 5% saved for PayPal Reserve and 5% saved for the dev fund.
Gotcha.
And what is the timeline kind of as far as actually integrating Jules into the game, into Apex Conquer?
So that'll be ready as soon as the ICO ends, actually. So we're in the process of developing the back-end infrastructure right now to be able to secure the wallets. We're actually developing the wallet itself and to make sure that we can accept those payments into them and process transactions on our site through PayPal, that sort of thing. As soon as that's in place, we'll be looking to get it integrated in terms of a cash shopping game to actually spend the jewels on. And we hope to have that ready before the ICO ends. And that'll be ready to implement into Apex. And then shortly after, it'll be integrated into our new Heroes project, which is our new server.
Excellent.
Yep.
Well, that sounds really excellent, Chris. Is there anything else that you wanted to say to our listeners?
I would definitely just say try checking out our site here, see if you enjoy the game a little bit, and definitely take into account that we are looking to expand it through our many different gambling games that we're going to be integrating. I'm really excited to do this because the number of potential partnerships that we have for the games that we're going to be developing is really awesome, and provably fair gambling isn't something that's often done in real video games, and we want it to be a really huge success.
Thanks, Chris. We really appreciate you taking the time again to talk to us, and we'll be keeping an eye on Apex Conquer. And for people that might not know, that's apexconquer.com is the website.
Yes, definitely.
Conquer.com/ico.php for the ICO information.
For sure, and thanks again for having me on.
Yep, thanks, Chris.
Bye.
Alrighty, that was Chris from Apex Conquer.
Yeah, thanks again for coming on. We really appreciate that. And it was great to take kind of a second look at Apex Conquer and Jules,
Yep.
the cryptocurrency that's going to be the main token on there. And we're going to start doing a segment called The Second Look with Blockchain Dynamics.
Yep, it's true. We realized that we cover a lot of coins kind of when they first launch, but it's really hard to revisit all of them or even the promising ones or even a fraction of them. And so we have come up with a segment called The Second Look, where it's just going to be us essentially revisiting a coin that we had previously talked about.
And we want to try to give them a little bit of research, more so than we did the first time, obviously. So next week we're going to be looking at Breakout Stake.
Breakout stake, and probably the Breakout coin family in general. This was suggested to us by one of our listeners.
Yeah, which is great because, we appreciate suggestions.
It's true.
And the first thing he pointed out was that a bunch of the coins had to be burned because not many people bought into the ICO or the distribution of the breakout stakes.
Yep, it was like the second ICO of the Breakout family, I guess. So we'll get more into that.
We're going to look
next
much
week.
closer at it next week.
So with that, I think we'll probably head into the news. Pretty incredible week for news. There's got to be one story that dominates the entire thing, and that has got to be
Ethereum Classic.
Ethereum Classic.
Yep, really amazing to see what happened here. It seemed sort of, some people maybe pish-poshed at the post.
Yep.
I don't think anybody expected Poloniex to immediately list it as a tradable pair and convert everybody's Ethereum to Ethereum Classic.
They had announced that they were going to let people withdraw their Ethereum Classic, but I don't think it was known that there was just going to be this tradable pair right away.
Yeah. So that happened, which turned into one of the highest volume coin days for an altcoin I've seen, with 100,000 Bitcoin volume on Poloniex.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane.
People shorting ETH to buy Ethereum Classic, people selling Ethereum Classic as free money. Quite the show.
Yeah, it was incredible. Just turned into essentially a frenzy, the likes of which we haven't seen in quite a while. Just funny to see ETH Classic. The price immediately dropped to about 80,000 and then kind of shot up to 300,000. Just a huge... It's hard to imagine the volume being that high.
Right.
With that price level, but obviously it's questionable. You never know how the volume always gets generated. But
Correct, yeah.
It's just funny to think that it really seems like a surprise to us now, although you kind of think about the people that were trading Ethereum before in all these huge numbers on Poloniex. Now they all have ETH Classic, so I guess why wouldn't they trade it,
Right, and it also, they're, unlike the Ethereum that they actually paid quite a bit for, most likely the Ethereum Classic did come to them for free. Essentially, you can buy so much and keep your buy-in so low.
Exactly.
If you're one of those people.
And so with kind of the ETH Classic having just been dropped on everybody like this, you really can't be surprised that people are going to try and make a value case for it, try and build up the value of the Ethereum Classic chain. And I think that's a little bit of how it started, and then it seems to have snowballed into just a huge phenomenon almost.
Right. And I also am kind of thinking how it's maybe a warning or a lesson to Bitcoin if it were to ever have to actually do a controversial fork.
Right.
It shows what a big market cap coin could happen.
Right. It seems like it's almost like the market for Ethereum fragmented immediately. And so it would be interesting to see, could that kind of thing be possible with Bitcoin? Now it seems a lot more believable than I guess I would have said maybe a couple months ago.
Right. So either way, here we are a week later, and Ethereum Classic is number 6 highest cryptocurrency on CoinMarketCap.com.
Yep. Last week, Ethereum was the number 2 currency. Now it's the number 2 and the number 6. So that's funny. There was also some interesting technical issues that a lot of exchanges were having with the fork.
Right.
A lot of people were upset about it. A lot of exchanges that had delisted Ethereum Classic or delisted Ethereum Core now relisted Ethereum Classic.
Yep.
But then Coinbase, most notably, seemed to be having a lot of issues with the new chain. Apparently due to a technical issue, this replay attack.
Right, because basically, let's say I sent some Ethereum from Coinbase over to Poloniex. There was a period of time where I was just being credited with the matching Ethereum Classic.
Right. And so apparently there was a lot of that going on. People just weren't... It seems like nobody thought it would trade like this. People knew that it was going to be out there, but people weren't quite ready for this level of madness, I guess. And we're really seeing there were a lot of people left out in the cold. and I can see why they would be upset. Poloniex had to issue a funny statement for a lot of the people complaining, especially there were margin traders who had loaned out their Ethereum, and then they didn't get any ETH Classic, and so there was obviously a lot of people really upset about that. The exchange kind of released a statement saying they essentially had no choice but to credit the people who had received the borrowed ETH. And I can see the logic there too, but once again, it just shows how complicated these fork situations can be. We've seen a lot of hard forks in crypto. We see them almost every week.
Yeah.
And we've never seen anything like this, so it's really unprecedented, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely amazing. And for people that were in the right spot, I imagine they already made a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, I was able to get just a small amount kind of on a lark after it was listed. And obviously it went way up, so we kind of laughed about it, but I don't know where to go from here. I'm obviously not a savvy enough trader to know kind of where to take it from here with ETH Classic.
But we'll be keeping an eye on it.
Yep.
I think it'll be hard not to.
Yeah, it's going to be in your face, period.
Another little piece of news we thought we'd share that looked cool was that Zcash was being delayed a bit for security audits.
Zcash, one of probably the most
Promising? Maybe?
maybe promising, maybe high profile.
High profile.
Upcoming blockchains that is on the horizon. It's tantalizingly close. I know there are people mining it, at least on testnet.
Right. Which I guess from what we understand may or may not be reset.
Right. That was an interesting thing that you had told me that I wasn't sure about, but apparently it was up in the air as to the question of whether or not these testnet coins would actually just be rolled into the mainnet, which I think that would be a surprising choice.
Yeah, it's probably wouldn't be that way in the end.
And it seems like what was actually delayed was the genesis block of the new chain.
Okay.
So would the genesis block of that new chain then credit the testnet coins?
I doubt that.
So I think it'll probably be a fresh chain, which is probably a good thing.
And so that's something to just keep your eye on for early mining especially.
Yep. Zcash is interesting. It's like going back to the anonymous theme. I wonder how much traction that has in this market where all the focus is on smart contracts and stuff. I'm curious to see how well a new, really high-profile coin, and we've been hearing about Zcash for so long. I'm really curious to see how it plays in this market.
Yeah, I always like mining new coins anyway. It's always fun.
Yep, and especially if you can get, this will probably won't be that easy to mine. I guess you can get mining now, so you can get configured already.
Yeah.
So there'll probably be a lot of hash immediately.
Yeah, you never know. It won't be, anything that like this that's going to be successful has a pretty much increasing hash rate.
Yep.
So,
We'll see what happens. Up next, EDR coin, the kind of funny coin that's been at the top of the volume of all the small exchanges for the past few months. It's finally dumped.
Yeah, Brendan and I never buy these types of coins, but we always find them really interesting because they're able to sustain such a high volume without their price changing.
Right.
And relatively nobody that we've ever met has ever bought one.
Right. We wonder, obviously it's questionable as to what % of the volume is self-trading and that kind of stuff. And we always just wonder how the economics of a coin like that can really work. But we're seeing now that it's, it's probably, I guess, over for now. We'll see. Most of the time, we've seen a lot of coins like this before where the chain is almost all pre-mined and there's just huge volume kind of that is there to try to draw people in. And usually when they drop like this, they don't come back. But EDR coin's been a lot bigger than some of the previous ones we've seen, like Hash Profit comes to mind. Usually, they used to be on C-Cex mostly.
Right, and
now
that's kind of where this one started too.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
But now it's down and hopefully gone. But that means that there's probably going to be a new kind of a successor to it, a similar type coin will come out.
Yeah.
And that's the news for this week. Obviously, Ethereum Classic is the big story.
Yeah, it was really, really cool to see. Certainly unique situation that teaches everybody about what a fork is capable of doing.
Eye-opening, I would say.
Yeah.
Yep. So next we are going to move into the random coin spotlight.
This is just a little segment we are liking weekly where we roll 1 to 100 and check out that coin on CoinMarketCap.
Let's see, what was the number this week?
I don't remember the number, but the coin came up NXT.
NXT. So, super high-profile coin. I think we've all heard of this one.
Yep, and we've actually spoke about it not long ago because of their upcoming swap.
Yep, NXT is currently being swapped over to NXT 2.0 or Ardor. And so they're snapshotting the NXT blockchain for the next couple months, I think, maybe next month or two at least. And then essentially the average of your NXT balances will then get rolled over into NXT 2.0.
Yep.
So that's
And
really cool.
It sort of reminds me of this Ethereum fork, once again, because we're talking about a
it's true.
situation where
Good
some
point.
people will be getting coins for essentially free.
Yeah, that's true. That's an interesting perspective on it. And just shows how the value equation in blockchains is so... It's just so unlike anything we've ever seen before, where it's like, oh, now this blockchain has forked in two, and each fork is maintaining elements of the value of the other, and it's crazy. But NXT is a really interesting coin. It was one of the first coins to offer, I think, really easy integrated side chains. People can issue NXT assets.
Yep.
It was one of the very early proof of stake coins,
Yep.
and it also was one of the earliest IPOs. It had a 21 Bitcoin IPO for the first, and it's like for 1 billion coins. And
Wow.
so the IPO price was like on the order of like 1 Satoshi or something like that.
Really?
Yep. And now it is a 4,000 Satoshi coin. It has a 43,000 Bitcoin market cap. So compared to the IPO price, that is a 2,000x increase.
Amazing.
So yeah, that's pretty astonishing. NXT, really cool coin. My closest experience with it would be Burst Coin, which I don't know if it's an NXT asset or if it's just a kind of a fork of NXT. But Burst Coin is the coin that uses the hard drive for mining.
Right, yeah, of course.
And it uses the NXT wallet interface, which I thought was really cool. I really enjoyed using it, so props to NXT.
And that was NXT, which was our random coin spotlight.
Next, we're bringing it to the new posts.
We like to go through new posts. One of the main things that we found to focus on within the altcoin space, is new coins, specifically because if you find them when they're new, you can really
Understand them.
yeah, and get into the communities better, and just sort of you learn a lot.
Yeah, you really get the full picture of a coin if you've watched it since launch. And that's the reason we like to kind of wade through the muck of the Bitcoin Talk new posts and try to see what's out there. We also sometimes get it wrong. And so if you think that we have unfairly treated your coin or a coin in our new announcements, just hit us up and we'll do a second look.
The first one we're going to see today that we saw posted on Bitcoin Talk is the XC relaunch.
XCX currency. This was a huge coin in 2014. It just kind of blew the landscape away in the post-Dark Coin era. I don't remember the peak price, but it was ridiculous. Do you remember that pump?
No, not really.
Really? That's funny. It was one for the books. But apparently they've still been developing it this whole time.
Yeah, and although I can't speak directly for the implications of this, they explain pretty clearly that the security will be increased on their chain by allowing more nodes to be used per transaction, which is
Cool.
one of the unique features of their code. And the previous limit was 3, and now you can up to 10. So that's a pretty large increase.
There you have it. So XC, kind of a relaunch, re-announcement. It's a Poloniex coin. It's already up quite a bit in price, and it's one that I was watching, and I didn't actually realize that it was up quite as much as it is. I was kind of waiting to see,
Oh, really?
kind of looking to see when it would spike, and it looks like it already has, but it's such a coin that's been around for so long. It's always had a community. Seems like it's had ongoing development. It's one of those coins, I guess, where anything could happen.
Sure.
So XC.
And why not another relaunch, which is Space Coin?
Space Coin, I would say
Revival, they call it.
this one is a substantially lower profile coin.
What was the coin market cap on this one?
I checked it out. It was $2,000. $2,000. And that's actually a pretty big increase from where it was at like a year ago. Maybe not quite a year ago, like 6 months ago. It was as low as $114 on the market cap,
Wow.
which is about as low as you'll see. And I looked into it, and it seems like it's because there was the YoBit wallet is dead or not synced, or
Uh-huh.
so the coins on there kind of aren't, they're
Not quite usable.
Not quite usable. So part of this relaunch is that they're kind of trying to get in the chain resynced.
Nice.
They're looking to get on other exchanges. They should check out Cryptopia, I guess.
Yeah. So you're going to be on that Space Coin Classic, or are you going with Space Coin?
Yeah, when the fork happens. I don't think there's a fork. I think it's just like
Okay.
it's the type of takeover where I think it's mostly just about enthusiasm.
They just need to turn on their wallets, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wonder if they will do a new version. I'm not sure about that.
I think they're going to fork it.
Always a good idea. If not always a good idea, but if your chain is, I think if you're trying to take ownership of a chain that was dead,
You're going to want to be able to edit things.
I'm a fan of the swap in that circumstance because it kind of filters out everything that was not part of the old chain, all the dead coins and stuff.
And another thing I'm a fan of that we've talked about is why even create a new chain at this point? Just tack it onto one of these expensive, already high-profile chains.
Oh, like Ethereum or something?
Sure.
Or NXT.
Whatever.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good point.
It's kind of, I guess there's probably, the idea is to add features in that those don't have, rather than just be a token.
Yep. Up next is Peep Coin. This coin, this is mostly just good for a laugh, I guess.
We got a free ICO here, $1 each.
$1 each, folks.
$1 million to 1,000 people.
That's it. It's going to be just that easy. So what is that, a $10 billion market cap?
Yep.
We really like this coin. You can look up the post. It's called Peep Coin because we like these coins that just make the most insane, unkeepable promises you could ever imagine. And they're definitely doing that with Peep Coin by offering to give away $1 million to 1,000 people.
Yeah. And I would want to be one of those lucky people if I didn't have to go to their website and put any information about myself in.
Yeah, if these people are asking you for absolutely any personal information to sign up, I would strongly advise against it. And that is Peep Coin, so good for a laugh.
But up next is something that I'm sure Brandon would never laugh at, which is the
absolutely not.
CryptoCoinManCoin.
The CryptoCoinManCoin.
And this is from a user named the CryptoCoinMan.
Yep, that clearly is where the name comes from.
And yeah, he's proposing quite a high pre-mine, he says, 68%.
Wow, we've heard this story before. The CryptoCoinManCoin is to help him grow and maintain his mining pool, I guess. But I didn't. Looks like it's not a super high response IPO just yet.
It's one of the ones where we like to check the amount of money that people have actually sent these addresses unescrowed that are just sitting in Bitcoin Talk posts.
Right. From new members. I guess he's not a new member, but.
And we'll just give you 1 second to guess in your head if it's zero or not zero. Answer is
0.
Yeah.
No money in the IPO, so hard to say what the point is there. There were a few announcements like that this week, just kind of IPOs for the sake of IPOs, it seems like. So, CryptoCoinMan, hard to say.
There were more than 2 Pokemon coins this week.
Yep, there were, I believe, 3 total Pokemon
3 or
coins.
4. And so we had to skip a few of them, and I decided to just pick the one that actually got listed on YoBit, despite the fact that obviously it's
just a
kind of pandering type of thing. I mean,
yeah, at least they've made the graphics. I can't tell if it's a coin builders yet. But
we're still seeing these types of, we certainly think that they're an interesting part of the crypto scene, and we would never want to see this type of coin disappear from the scene, I don't think.
yeah, the day that people stop releasing high pre-mine, just kind of shit coins, is the day that I'll be worried, I guess, because it doesn't cost them anything, and so they might as well try. The YoBit listing is 1/10 of a Bitcoin or whatever. I can't really fault people for trying to just release coins in this market.
Well, and you can't really fault people. I mean, Brennan and I don't trade these coins on YoBit, but I wouldn't fault those people either, is the thing.
No,
because I know that some people just play these silly little games on there or whatever.
Yeah, it's almost like just kind of rolling the dice. It's like gambling with crypto sometimes with these YoBit coins.
Well, we've talked about that, how they're more of a gambling site.
Right. Yeah, originally.
It's not even really...
It's like a dice site that also trades coins. I've said that before, but I don't actually believe it.
Oh, really?
No, it seems like initially that's what it felt like, but they definitely have been taking steps to bring up their volume, that's for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. It might be just incidental. I have no idea.
So yeah, Pokecoin, it'll be pandering to Pokemon, and hard to say where it goes from there.
Just a high pre-mine coin.
Yep.
We also noticed Aces.
Ace is a next-generation gaming cryptocurrency.
And this has certainly been a popular theme lately.
Yeah, this one doesn't really hard to say if there's anything behind it. I noticed it was the developer of that HVCO coin that came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that launched like a month or two ago. That was just a straight-up POW, straight-up proof-of-work SHA mining coin. And now he's just launching a random kind of IPO. So hard to say. I wasn't that impressed with HVCO, so.
Really, yeah. I mean, it seems a little bit early to be starting a new blockchain, right?
Right. And as always, it's fun to check the IPO address. Let's just do a quick check here.
Da, 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 da,
How much is in the
da.
IPO? Zero BTC.
So,
Another one. Always something to be wary of. Next on the list, this is pretty funny. That was Aces. Up next, we are going to be talking about
Ethereus Maximalist. Great name.
Yeah,
Hilarious,
really funny
if
name.
Nothing else.
This is one of my favorite coins this week, and it's probably because the premise.
Right.
It's just that it's another fork of Ethereum at a random block, essentially.
I like their gusto on that.
Yeah, I agree.
Although the thing about Ethereum Classic was it's like immediate listing on Poloniex. That's what really
Right.
mattered.
Right, and the thing about this is funny to me because the idea is that because the ETH Classic launch wasn't necessarily considered to be fair, at least by everybody, they have decided that they're going to instead do another fork of ETH, but on a pre-announced block so that everybody's kind of prepared for the fork. But the whole point of the ETH Classic is that the blockchain doesn't fork. So for them to be forking the one that is already forked, it seems like they've kind of missed the point of all of ETH Classic there.
Are they forking off of Ethereum Classic or Ethereum?
I think this is forking off of Ethereum Core.
Interesting.
So they'll be in the post-fork chain, and then they'll be forking that, which I don't think any of the purists are going to be very interested in.
I don't think this one's gonna go very far, but I think it's a great little thing to do.
Yeah, and I also got to give them props for calling it Ethereus Maximalist.
You know what? Why not throw another Pokemon coin in there? BitPokemonGo.
BitPokemonGo was launched this week. It was a half ninja launch. I don't know what that means.
I thought this one would be great in the show just because it does have that airdrop. And for people that maybe just want to get started with crypto, that might be a really good way if you can manage to find an airdrop. Then you just get a little bit of Bitcoin, really.
Yeah, it's just a little boost to your wallet, I guess, and it's a chance to sometimes get a huge return.
Who knows? I doubt it. I mean, this one doesn't seem like it has any plans.
Yeah, a lot of
Anything
these
with the word Poke in it, I'm not quite so sure that's legit.
Right. This is probably the best looking one so far, in my opinion, just because it's just a proof of work coin. They're not trying to raise any money as far as I can tell. They're doing an airdrop.
At least it's not an IPO.
Yeah, exactly. So if you are a person who's new at mining, this would probably be one of the few coins this week that would have been worth looking at.
This next one is called Today Image Coin.
Today Image Coin. What's the point of Today Image Coin, Jukely? Could you tell?
Oh, I didn't know there was supposed to be a point to it.
The point is to be a coin. Earn 100% free today coin website launch for next 2-3 week. So this is one of those posts that's tough to parse. I'm going to throw out a guess that it has an exceptionally high pre-mine. And looks like just another one. Oh, yep, there it is. 27 million.
I'd have to say my snarkiest comment is going to have to be how the Today image logo is a direct ripoff of the YouTube logo. Except for the words Today and image in the boxes.
Instead of you and tube, it just has Today and image. That's funny. That's a good catch. I didn't notice that.
I actually like this next one, which is somebody is thinking about forking RaiBlocks.
RaiBlocks is a cool chain.
Yeah. So it was being initially distributed via faucet, and at some point it just kind of stopped. The faucet's been turned off, and this makes it clearer to me that perhaps the original people have just sort of vanished.
Right.
As is not unheard of in the world of cryptocurrency.
Very common.
But this person, it's kind of shady that they mention like a specific amount of money here. They're like, I'm trying to get $50,000 or something. But I like the idea of eventually trading RaiBlocks. That's what I've been always thought would be sweet. I mean, they were so close to having something interesting there.
Right. It's funny that he just announces he's not asking for money. He's announcing that he's talking to an investor to try to get $50,000.
Right.
Which is a pretty funny thing to just post on Bitcoin Talk. But I give him credit for trying. And we like RaiBlocks. We liked the idea of the faucet distribution. And
they had a unique client that wasn't a QT. It was totally unique.
So yeah, all the kind of the fun things that can make a blockchain unique. And this guy's doing a swap. So check it out, I guess, if you are interested in RaiBlocks.
But not a lot of information about actually accomplishing this goal.
Yep. And once again, that's not a new coin. That's just another fork.
Forks, apparently.
Or once again, is this a fork or is it? It is a fork, it looks like.
Is it kind of like how movies, eventually it's all sequels?
Right. Coins become forks. Movies become sequels. We'll see as time goes on. I would like to see every time a coin forks like randomly for a wallet update or something for the exchange to release a classic version. So it's like, oh, Dogecoin issued an update to, change some security thing. Now there's 2 Dogecoin chains on the exchange.
Yeah, well, I think that's just the unprecedented part, because there's been so many hard forks and most of them haven't been this controversial. And I guess that's why we didn't see those classic coins traded.
Yep, I guess so. So anyway, still going back to the new coins. Our last coin this week. It's a Capri coin.
And Capri Pay?
And Capri Pay. This is another old coin. Relaunch / re-announcement. I don't think this one is a fork. I think it's just an announcement of their Capri Pay service. This is interesting to me. You always see this coin. I don't know if it's pronounced CapriCoin or Capri Coin, but I say Capri Coin, I guess. But we always see it on Bittrex in the top volume, like every day. I don't know if you've noticed that.
No, I actually didn't notice that.
And I've always wondered what the deal is. The future set seems to be just kind of the usual proof of stake, money transfer, Bitcoin stuff, which is fine. But they also do seem to have like a mobile app, which allows people to send USD equivalent payments and stuff pretty easily. So I think that's what the Capri Pay is all about, essentially. So it's a service to facilitate easy payments. It looks like you can do usernames, so you can send to a username instead of having to send to a complicated address, which is something that's appealing and a lot of coins have been working towards as well. And so I guess probably check out the Capri Pay service. Looks interesting enough, and that coin, of course, is on Bittrex.
We'll just take a little look at the summary of our new coins here.
Yep, going back, XC relaunch, probably worth watching XC, I would say.
Been around long enough.
Other than that, I have a tough time really seeing any of these coins with a long future.
Yeah, I don't see most of these getting listed. I mean, we mentioned Pokecoin because it was listed.
For the new coins, at least. I'm sure like CapriCoin and RaiBlocks will probably be around, but
And perhaps funny enough, there's several coins that are listed that we didn't mention.
That's true. We are trying to leave off kind of the worst coins of the week because they're just so pointless. And sometimes those are the ones that get listed, which is funny. But, that's how it is.
But let's just go into the coin listings.
Yep, that was the new coins. Next, we're going to cover all of the listings. We always like to keep you guys updated on which coins are on which exchanges.
The first exchange that we're going to talk about is Cryptopia.
Cryptopia,
which,
of
as
course.
we mentioned, is our sponsor, and you can go to their website on the forums, to our thread, say hello. We give you dots.
It's true. Say anything pretty much in our thread, and we'll throw some dots your way. And also, if you're interested in calling into the show or chatting with us, if you're just like a person who loves a coin or something, then hit us up, and we'll throw some dots your way for that as well.
And the guys over at Cryptopia listed Ethereum Classic.
Yep, they previously had an Ethereum base pair. They took it down and delisted Ethereum because of the fork.
Yep.
So I guess not a shock now to see them trading Ethereum Classic.
Yep. Very nice.
For Poloniex, obviously Ethereum Classic was their listing this week.
And you know what? Bittrex also listed Ethereum Classic.
Yeah, it probably would have been faster this week to list the exchanges that didn't add Ethereum Classic, because so many did. But one that didn't
Was YoBit.
Yeah, of all, I would have thought YoBit would release like Ethereum Classic pre-trading tokens.
Although they did rename some coin that had the name ETC to
Oh, that's funny.
ETCO, because
Really?
obviously people were probably incredibly confused.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I bet that was really confusing for people.
So they listed just a handful of junk as usual. TajCoin, ExtremeCoin, CraftCoin, RustCoin, Frankie Will Coin, Ron Paul Coin.
That's the standout of the week, definitely.
This is an old coin that, as far as I know, was being traded on Cryptsy.
Cryptsy, yeah, that's the last place I remember seeing Ron Paul coin
And
as
it
well.
could be on Cryptopia as well. I'm going to take a look real quick because they sometimes have older coins like that.
So,
But
and yeah, they also listed Pokecoin. So kind of the usual stuff from YoBit this week, and then Ron Paul coin. Weird. So yeah, we laughed about that.
Yep, Cryptopia does have Ron Paul coin. So if
Okay.
you can maybe find some arbitrage between
YoBit and Cryptopia.
YoBit and Cryptopia in the Ron Paul coin section.
C-Cex, they added WorldCoinGold.
Sounds like a real C-Cex style coin right there.
It really does. Just 3 words jammed together. One of them is coin, one of them is gold. That's an appealing thing for people, apparently. So yeah,
Straight
trade
on
that.
to NovaExchange.
NovaExchange, the pluckiest exchange out there.
That's what we like to say. And they seem to be kind of settling back in.
Yep, I think they, of course, had a compromise earlier when they were trading a lot of espers a few months ago. But they have bounced back, and now this week they have added
PapaFrancesco coin.
Yep, PapaFrancesco coin on NovaExchange and BitSynq. Very cool.
Nothing on Livecoin. They are one of the exchanges that gave a statement regarding not wanting to list Ethereum Classic type of
Right.
thing. So those are type of things where, from our perspective, it was hard to understand. It seemed like they wished they had listed it first. Is that kind of how I feel? I don't know.
They seemed like they were put upon. They felt put upon because they weren't really aware of all of the implications
Right.
of having ETH
They
Classic.
felt like they should have been more informed by people that might have known that this was going to be the case,
Right.
perhaps.
And I can sympathize with that argument, but also, you kind of, as an exchange operator, there is a bit of a burden on you to be able to fully understand what is going on with the blockchains you're dealing with. You kind of bear a responsibility in that because you're holding people's coins theoretically. When somebody gives you control of their private key, that's a lot of responsibility. So I can sympathize with Livecoin's position. I don't feel really bad for the people that didn't get ETH Classic. It's unfortunate, obviously, but that's just how it is when you leave your private keys with an exchange, when you leave the control of your coins with an exchange, that you kind of have to accept that whatever happens, because you can't expect everybody to be fully up to speed on everything that happens with every single one of these coins they trade. That's not realistic either. And so you just kind of have to accept the liability that sometimes things like this happen, and sometimes you miss the train, and that's crypto for you, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe that's easy for me to say because I got all my ETH Classic. Who knows?
You didn't have any ETH over there on YoBit then, huh?
No.
Because it doesn't seem like they converted anything.
No, I'm curious to see what happens with YoBit's ETH Classic. I bet there's a lot of people asking for it.
We'll see.
Alrighty. And that does it for the listings this week.
We like to do a coin birthdays section of our show.
Yep, we're reaching back in time. We're looking for the coins that got launched 1 and 2 or maybe even 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's going to be getting that way. In fact, we're reaching one of our main resources we've been using for this segment of the show is altcoincalendar.info.
Yep.
And we're reaching this point in crypto history where it was not getting used as much. So like a year ago, we're not really seeing the listings anymore.
Right, and so we're kind of looking into maybe using Bitcoin Talk more to go back and try and find all the listings. Or if you have a coin that you like that you know is having a birthday, we'll definitely be happy to give them a shout out as well.
Yep. Because, you know what? 1 year ago, little old Ethereum came to life.
Yeah, a little baby coin called Ethereum was born. You might have heard of this coin. Some guy named Vitalik made it. Something to do with smart contracts. It's hard to say.
It was ICO, and
ICO, yeah.
the length of time between the investing in the ICO and the distribution of the coins was, I think, over a year. Because I invested in it and I waited a long time.
I think it was about 10 months.
10 months?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Fair enough. But it felt like a long time.
It was a long time.
When it finally happened, the price was high compared to the IPO.
Right.
But people never knew that it was going to go so much higher.
Yep, and then I guess everybody knows the rest. Just a little coin called Ethereum. Happy 1 year birthday.
2 years ago, a coin called Monetary Unit was created.
Monetary Unit, that's MUE is the ticker there. Kind of a fun little coin. Great little community coin. Definitely, if you're somebody who just likes to check out low-profile blockchains that are kind of oriented around the classic model, Monetary Unit is a great one, I think.
Yeah, really trying to push for usability and awareness of their coins. So, at least there's people that are working on it.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely a huge happy 2 year birthday to Monetary Unit. No easy task to survive for 2 years in this crazy crypto world.
Correct.
And those are our 2 big birthdays this week. So congratulations once again to Ethereum and Monetary Unit. And I think that is going to do it for show number 22.
It's been another great week.
We are, of course, brought to you by Cryptopia.co.nz.
And we love to ask you once again to come to our forum thread over there and just say hi. Let us know what coins you like, what coins we should check out on the show, and we will award you DOT for that.
Yep, you get dots, lots of dots. We love those dots. So, yep, this has been another Blockchain Dynamics show with Air by Trial Radio. My name is Brandon Doge.
And I'm Woody.
Peace.
Currency.
Like a couple Bitcoins.
Money though.
Pull up on my Nakamoto.